Stacey Wardle, Chair of World FTD United. FTD, also known as frontotemporal dementia or frontotemporal degeneration, is the most common cause of dementia for people under the age of 60. Yet, because awareness of this disease remains limited, the journey to an FTD diagnosis is often long and difficult. On average, more than 3.5 years pass between symptom onset and diagnosis. Difficulties obtaining a diagnosis just adds confusion and stress to what is already a challenging journey. Too few health professionals know about FTD. Some may even be hesitant to give a dementia diagnosis to a younger person. FTD is frequently misdiagnosed as depression or bipolar disorder or another neurological condition. To mark World FTD Awareness Week 2022, we here at World FTD United have created this short video. It highlights the challenges families face on the road to diagnosis. You'll hear from people living with FTD and from caregivers. You'll hear from clinicians and researchers working in the area. They are all speaking about this difficult but important topic. We ask you to help us spread awareness of FTD. Particularly this year, we want to raise awareness of the difficulties people can experience on the road to diagnosis. We hope this might help speed the path to diagnosis so that families can connect sooner to vital information and to critical services and supports. The number of clinical trials targeting FTD is growing, and an accurate diagnosis combined with genetic counselling can be crucial steps toward understanding the best options available. Please help us share this video far and wide. Use the hashtag #AskAboutFTD. Be sure to watch until the end, because there we'll show you other ways you can help to raise awareness of FTD.
About half of people are actually incorrectly diagnosed before receiving the correct diagnosis. And partly that's because the tests that are available aren't really sensitive to these changes in people's behaviour and personality, and they focus on more traditional aspects of cognition like memory, which we know is less affected in these people.
We know that there can be a very long diagnostic delay, up to 3.5 years, because people, the symptoms of FTD are diagnosed as something else. 3.5 years is clearly a long time for things to happen: relationship, family issues, employment, financial decisions. A lot of things can happen in 3.5 years. FTD is not necessarily the first thing that a general practitioner, for example, will think of if someone who's in their 40s or 50s comes along with problems with personality change or behaviour change.
If people they might have some of the symptoms, say, of depression, but not the full, don't meet the diagnostic criteria for depression. Things are progressing quite rapidly. The past history, does someone have? Is this a long history of a primary psychiatric illness, or this is really a sudden change? Is someone who's never had history, and this is a very new presentation later on in life? Is there family history of unusual or late onset psychiatric illness, or even suicide, or history of neurological or cognitive disorders like frontotemporal dementia or motor neuron disease?
I didn't understand anything, and then we go to the doctor and he got diagnosed with depression, but his tablets weren't helping, and we eventually in the end went to a different doctor who knew it was something neurological. But then that was tricky too, because a neurologist appointment was months away and he was getting worse and worse.
My journey started when I was about age 6. My husband and I were in marriage counseling, and the therapist suggested I was depressed, and and said I need to be seen by a psychiatrist. So I went, and he tried several depression medications that didn't do much of anything. And then I saw a different psychiatrist who thought it wasn't working because I had bipolar type 2. So my husband took me to UCSF, where I was diagnosed at age 48 with FTD You could say I was lucky because I didn't have to see a lot of neurologists or primary care doctors, just a lot of psychiatrists.
My mom had struggled with depression for a number of years prior to this. And so we thought by working with her therapist and her psychiatrist that maybe this was related to that. They continued to be stumped, continued to say, we don't know what's going on. Finally, we decided to go to see a neurologist and who did all the testing and came back with a diagnosis of Alzheimer's. I realized it was maybe a year into that diagnosis that I was still realizing that we're not getting my mom the help that she needed. And she was going more and more downhill because she wasn't receiving that support. When I did go back to the neurologist, he said, literally, I am the neurologist. I went to school for this. If I thought it was FTD, I would have said that. So I promptly found another neurologist, realizing that this person was not who could help us. And fortunately, this next person really listened to our experience, really listened to what I, as the caregiver, I, as the daughter, was explaining was happening to my mom, and what I thought might be going on. At that point, after more testing, she was diagnosed with FTD.
So by analyzing many patients who develop the disease, we have now narrowed down on a small set of genes which will eventually become much larger as the studies go on. And we know that when mutations occur in these genes, then these people are very likely to develop the disease, even though when you do the analysis, they're still cognitively normal. In parallel to this, what many discoveries have tried to do is to look at alterations in the metabolites that can be found, for example, in the blood of people who have dementia, in the blood of people who will develop dementia. These metabolites are called biomarkers, and they are a fundamental part of the research today.
Despite great advances, we've still got a long way to go to really improve and reduce this diagnostic odyssey and improve outcomes for everyone.
Thank you for watching this video.
If you or a loved one are experiencing red flag symptoms consistent with FTD, including unexplained behaviors or difficulties with language, we recommend that you visit your doctor and ask about FTD.
If someone you know is diagnosed with this disease, we encourage you to connect with an organisation in your country that focuses on FTD. They can provide you with resources and information that can help. A list of such organisations who can help you will be shown at the end of this video.
If you are a primary care doctor who suspects that someone in your care has FTD, referring them to a relevant specialist, such as a neurologist, to pinpoint the diagnosis will help put them on the path to gaining the necessary resources and supports.
Today, an early, accurate FTD diagnosis can bring hope. It can bring families into a supportive global community that understands this disease and inform them about the best options available. The number of experimental drug trials targeting FTD is growing.
While FTD is a rare disease, the total number of people affected globally isn't known. Help us to increase awareness of FTD. This will help more people get the diagnosis they need and provide researchers with a better picture of the true prevalence of this disease.
We encourage you to share your own diagnosis stories with our global community. Tell us what was wrong and what red flags you were seeing. How long did getting a diagnosis take? What helped? What advice would you give to other families in the same situation? Sharing your story publicly can raise awareness of FTD. It can even help other families who may be struggling on the journey to diagnosis. It can let them know they aren't alone.
For more information about FTD, please visit these sites.